Yugi. Morning, Lynn. Lynn, you there? Lynn, are you there? If you are, I can't hear you. Lynn, I don't know if you can hear me. I see it says you're connecting to audio. And apparently I've got one of your slides on my screen.
How do I get rid of it?
That's what I'm trying to find out. It says here that Lynn is still trying to get audio. I'm assuming she put that on there. I have no control here right now.
I tried Xing out of it
Yeah,
and it doesn't do anything.
no, my screen is dead here.
Is she here?
Well, she showed being on here, but I'm not hearing from her. Lynn, if you can hear me, I'm showing you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay.
Did you put that slide on the screen?
Yeah, I want to, oh, hang on, Chris. Hello? Yeah, hang on a minute. I was trying to set it up so that when I talk, I can put it up. Let me see. Hang on. Bill?
Yeah.
Is it, you can only see what I just put up there? I just was testing that out.
Yeah, I can only see that and I can't do anything.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I want to get on early and get that.
No, I
set
appreciate
up.
that.
Trying to figure out how I put that on there.
Now you sound like me. I have a little banner here. It said you were viewing Lynn Byberg's screen. Let me see view options. View ratio, hide video panel, exit full screen side by side.
I'm trying to find where I had clicked to share my screen. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, stop share. Is it gone?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we're back to normal.
Okay.
Gonna give it a couple more minutes. Catherine's not, haven't heard from her yet. Okay, I think we're all here now. Good morning. I've got 9:03. We will call the meeting to order. All members of the board are present. We have a guest with us, Lynn Byberg, who's also on the agenda. And hear from the public. Hear from the public. Hear from the public. First selectmen's briefing. I'm gonna go just pass on this for now and go right into the agenda. Most of what I'd be telling you about is on the agenda. Acceptance of the minutes of our regular meeting of August 15th. Is there a motion?
Was that the one I believe I was absent from? So
I believe so.
me too.
Have you reviewed those minutes, Catherine?
Yes, I did. I wasn't sure that, okay. Yeah, so moved.
I will second that in view that Roger was not here. Any additions, corrections, subtractions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion on the floor to approve the minutes of August 15th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noting one abstention from Roger. Hear from boards, commissions, and committees. Hearing none. We'll move on, excuse me.
Actually, yes, I can say something for the cemetery committee. Apparently, the Historical Society is going to wait until next year to put forth a program. Of course, approval to use the cemetery. Babcock,
Babcock Cemetery.
Babcock Cemetery.
Who did you hear that from, Catherine?
Gina sent all of us an email.
Really? I don't think I saw it. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, old business status of the after-school program. At my last conversation with the superintendent, Cindy, there are 15 students signed up. We're anticipating that we'll be getting more registrations. As you know, we put the limit at 20. As far as I know, everything is all set up for that to begin on August 5th.
So the last I had heard, there were 17. There had been 19 and due to a student requiring more assistance than we can provide, 2 were pulled back. And so did 2 more leave?
I'm just giving you the number that I've been touching and with Cindy every day just to keep updated. The 15 was the number I got from her yesterday.
Okay.
And initially there were 2 students, one who was double enrolled and another one who needed one-on-one
Okay.
assistance, which we're not prepared for. So as far as I know, everything else. Item B, discuss and act on recommendation received in the Ashford School Committee to move forward on the next phase of the agreement with MRA in conjunction with going forward with the RFQ for design professional services relating to the Ashford School solar proposal. And I believe in your packages, Kristen included the information that we had, including an email from Jim Rupert, chairman of the committee. Is there any discussion of that regarding that issue? Hearing no discussion, do we want to have a motion to approve that?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Roger's made the motion, Catherine in second. Any more discussions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Update on transfer station. We are still in progress. We got delayed a bit because our chip sealing company, who's going to be doing our final road chip sealing on Old Town Road and Hillside, I believe they're going to be starting the end of this week. Kind of delayed us and got in the middle, and that had to take priority. So it's in process. We're still anticipating probably October 1st for the kickoff of and getting everything straight up there.
Bill, when is the next transfer station meeting?
Right.
Committee meeting?
It has not been officially scheduled yet. I will double check with the chairman, and I'll send out an email to you to let you know.
Thank you. There's someone I know that wants to attend.
Okay. Yeah, and I've had a couple of inquiries, and I've invited people to join in if they want. Item E, discuss and act on proposed amendment to the Ashford Citizen Policies and Procedures.
So I emailed you just before the meeting. I'll read it to you. I would like to amend, bear with me, I just want to get my copy here. The original, this is to amend Ashford Citizen, I'd make a motion to amend Ashford Citizen Policies and Procedures, page 3, Ashford no charge advertising, bullet number 2, to read as follows. Articles and ads will be published at no charge for Ashford-based community groups and 501c3 organizations. Each will be limited to 1 submission per month. Requests to add other organizations or groups to this list should be submitted in writing to the Ashford Citizen editor. And I added 3 groups, whoops, bear with me, 3 groups to the list that we have, which is not necessarily an all-inclusive list. Ashford Houses of Worship. Let me page down here. Ashford Volunteer Fire Department Auxiliary. You know, I couldn't find information about the auxiliary out there. I probably don't have the right name. But I know that there is a group. And the Ashford Women's Group. So I added 3.
Yeah, as far as I know, and I believe they're trying to look into reorganizing, but the auxiliary was disbanded prior to our new chief, but I don't have a problem with leaving it on there because I know we're trying to encourage them, and I know that the chief is working on that to
Very good.
with that.
So those are the changes that I would like, or the amendment that I would like put in.
I will second that motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Roger, any thoughts,
No,
comments?
No, that's good.
Catherine, you're all set on that?
Yep.
All right, all in favor of the motion on the floor to amend the policies and procedures for the Ashford Citizen as previously described, signify by saying aye.
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 I'll send you the updated version so you can work with it.
Thank you very much.
And that should go out onto the website very quickly. It needs to be out there when the citizen hits the homes.
As soon as I get it, I will forward it on to Karen and see that that's done.
Okay, thank you.
All right, item 8, new business, board and commission appointments. I don't see that we have any appointments or recommendations. So we'll move on to item B under new business, tax refunds. I understand Lynn had submitted a number. Chris, have you got those?
Yes, I do. Um, Citing General Statute 12-129. Eleanor Davis in the amount of $242.58. US Pillar USA, which I assume is a leasing company, in the amount of $229.73. Marion Buteau in the amount of $102.25. Marion Buteau in the amount of $16.23. Robin Clapp in the amount of, I don't understand what Linda did, $32.82.
Linda's with us if you need a clarification on something.
And Stephen Richter in the amount of $715.63.
Now, may I interject,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
please? Look at the last column, overpaid tax. Those are the correct numbers. It
Oh,
totals out to
I'm sorry.
606.96.
all right. All right, so going back, Eleanor Davis in the amount of $10.
Good.
Sorry. Pillar USA in the amount of $70. Marion Buteau in the amount of $102.25. Marion Buteau in the amount of $16.23. Robin Clapp in the amount of $45.94.
Good.
Nope, I missed one. Stephen Richter in the amount of $606.96.
No,
Who did this?
No.
no.
What is it?
362.54.
Robin Clapp in the amount of $362.54.
I like Linda's numbers more.
Sorry.
Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion on the
Second.
floor. We have a second or any discussions? Linda, anything to add to that?
No, thank you. Unless you wanted to hear about 5 Circle Drive, but that's not refunds.
I don't think that's part of the motion, though.
No.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you want to mention something about 5 Circle Drive, Linda?
Yeah, just before I logged into your meeting, I received a phone call that a closing is scheduled on 5 Circle Drive, and the taxes will be paid off and postmarked in the amount of $18,336.29, and that's the property that's falling into the ground up at Lake Chaffee.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's good news. This was a property that I've had the building department and the fire marshal and that, and we've had some serious concerns because, for lack of a better term, it's been abandoned, and it's nice to see that that's back on the rolls and or will be shortly. Thank you for your work on that, Linda.
You're welcome.
All right, item C under new business, discuss an act on award of CDBG Small Cities Program application preparation and program administration and administration and implementation of program income RFP.
We only got one response to our ad from Community Connections, who does our Small Cities and Food program.
And I have a motion.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion on the floor that's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item D, review presented by the Ashford assessor regarding the veterans exemptions available in Ashford. Lynn, the floor is
here.
yours. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, now I'm gonna share the screen with that document. So what I'm gonna put on the screen is what I emailed to all the board members last week. It's an updated document on veterans and the exemptions in the town of Ashford. So let's see if this. One moment. Here we go. Can you see that?
We can, or I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can?
I can see it.
Okay. So this is,
Roger, you got hard copy of this in
Yep.
front of you? Yeah, and Roger's also got hard copy. Wait, Chris also dispersed hard copy of what you'll be going over. So we're
Okay.
all set.
okay. So I updated what I had presented previously and tried to consolidate and give more detail and less space here. So this all came about from an Ashford resident who inquired about a new local option for veterans based on income. But what I'm providing is some statistics and then a comparison of the two local options that are out there. And then just recommendations as far as if the board does want to consider this. So the first thing is, I mean, the number is always changing, but we have 195 veterans in town. And then I give the breakdown of the ages. And we also have about a quarter of our veterans that have a VA disability rating. And then out of our 200, we have 12 veterans who income qualify for a state mandated additional exemption based on their income, which uses the state guidelines. So we have 12 veterans that get an additional veteran exemption based on their income. This screen shows the range of veteran exemptions that we currently have. The lowest exemption for a veteran that does not have a disability rating and does not income qualify for a higher exemption gets a 1,500 assessment exemption. We apply that to either real estate or, if no real estate, to motor vehicle. And the highest exemption that a veteran can currently get is down here, 10,500. And that is for a veteran that has a 100% disability rating, or they have any rating, but they're over the age of 65 and they income qualify. So theirs would go all the way up to 10,500. So we range from 1,500 to 10,500. And in tax dollars, I'm just rounding, it ranges from $50 to about $350. And that's based on the current mill rate that we have. And as I mentioned, we have 12 that are currently eligible for the additional benefits based on income. And right now, the guidelines are for a married couple, the income limit is $49,100. And for unmarried, it's $40,300. If you have 100% VA disability rating, there's different guidelines. We don't look at their disability benefit or their Social Security. The next section is me giving the highlights of first a local option that has been around for several decades that allows a municipality to offer additional exemption benefit based on the veteran's household income. And they can set the exemption amount and they can determine what the guidelines are going to be. For years, the maximum benefit was $10,000 and the highest income threshold was $25,000 above the state guidelines. It's now anywhere, the exemption can be anywhere from $1,000 to $20,000. And the income guidelines can be the state guidelines, or it can be anything higher than the state guidelines. The veteran could be a homeowner or a non-homeowner, which means it's going to be applied to the real estate or the motor vehicle. And currently, those 12 that I mentioned, they're currently getting the additional veteran benefit based on income. They would also automatically qualify for this benefit if the town did have this, whatever the amount would be. And based on a survey that was done several years ago, I determined there are 90 towns in Connecticut that offer some version of this option. I don't have all. When they did the survey, they didn't ask for the details, but I did find a few surrounding towns. For example, Putnam, they use the state income guidelines, but they give the veteran an additional $1,000 off. In Columbia, they use the state limit also, but they give an additional $20,000 off. Stafford and Thompson, they both go $25,000 above the state guidelines. Stafford gives a $10,000 exemption and Thompson gives a $4,000. So it varies from town, the 90 towns, it varies what they offer. But it's basically a range of exemption amount and a range of income guidelines. Then last year, this next option,
You there? Lynn? Looks like we lost you from this side. We've still got your slide, but we're not hearing you. Hello?
Is Lynn in the office today?
Yes.
I can run down.
You know what? I can go next door and see if she needs to use my computer. She
Okay.
may have
That would be
frozen.
great.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate that, Linda.
Hang on.
I just called her. She's working on it.
thank you. So we unmuted?
I unmuted.
Okay, sorry, my computer disconnected me, so I don't know how far I got. Was I talking about the second local option?
We heard
You were
you up
about to.
until General Statute 12-81 KK.
Okay, all right, so I'll continue there. So that option is, it's new as of last year. And the difference is it's only for veterans who are homeowners. And hang on, I'm just going to my paper copy here. So this one has a maximum threshold of 50,100. It's not flexible like the other local option. So it's only $1,000 over the state income guidelines. And instead of being exemption amount, it's actually 10% of the assessed value of the home. And based on the assessments of our veterans, the exemption could be anywhere from 9,000 to 33,000. And the veterans who are currently receiving additional benefits based on income, 7 of them would qualify for this automatically. So if I go, can I
Hey,
scroll down?
Lynn, say that again. Of the
Well,
12,
of the 12, 7 of them would qualify for this automatically.
okay,
The 12 who already have state exemption.
gotcha.
And sorry, we're just seeing if we can scroll down on the screen, but you have the paper copy in front of you, correct?
Well, I do. I think we all do.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so then the last part that I just wanted to go over again, is if there is a, consideration of wanting to do a local veteran exemption out of the 2, if you do want to pursue looking into this further, I would recommend the first one, 1281F. And the reason why is because it's more equitable and it's more flexible in that every veteran who income qualifies could get it, whether you're a homeowner or not. The exemption could range anywhere from 1,000 to 20,000. And the guidelines can be anything from the state guidelines and anything higher than that. And all 12 veterans would be eligible for that.
So
Yes,
all 195 would be eligible?
No, only the 12, because
Only the 12.
yeah, because you can't go any lower than the state income guidelines. So the 12 who are currently qualify based on state guidelines, they would automatically be eligible for either one of these. But with the first one, 1281F, there's flexibility. You can use the state limits, or you can set it any amount higher than that. And the exemption can be anywhere from 1,000 to 20,000. And, and looking at 5 or 6 towns that currently have it, there is a range. Some do 1,000, some do 10,000. 20,000 is a new upper limit, so I haven't found any towns that are giving 20,000. But I just feel it offers more flexibility and it's more equitable than the newer one, because of such a wide range of house values. The 10% exemption would vary greatly. And really, I'm not sure how many more people would be eligible for it because it's only 1,000 above the state limit. And we already know we only have 12 veterans that qualify for that. In addition, I'll mention again that I had mentioned last year that the median household income in Ashford is $70,952. That's a 2021 Connecticut profile. That's where I received that information from. And also, each year I do get inquiries. Veterans will come in and ask me if they qualify, and I'll go over the guidelines with them. And, probably a handful each year, we determine our over income. What I don't know is, how many could qualify if the guidelines were at different thresholds. I don't know the answer to that. So the only thing I can say is if you do consider one, that I just believe that 1281F provides more flexibility and equity, if you did choose to pursue that. Are there any questions based on what I've given?
No, I think it's very clear on what you've outlined here. Catherine, Roger, any comments, questions?
Actually, as a veteran, I have to recuse myself from commenting.
We will leave that to your discretion. Roger, any thoughts or?
No, no, it's on the guidelines.
If we were to go with your recommendation for 12-81F, what have we done any statistics, or is Linda on what the implications are that we would be advising the Board of Finance of the financial implications of this?
Well, every 1,000 in assessment is $33 per thousand with the current mill rate.
Okay,
So
So-
for every thousand that, because none of this is reimbursable by the state. So if the board was considering pursuing this, you just have to keep in mind that it's 33, whatever the mill rate is. Motor vehicle, it's less because you know we had to cap that this year. It's 32.46, I think. And it's 33.085 for every thousand of assessment. So
So
if you, go ahead.
I do have a question. Do you have some kind of a number that indicates, again, and I know you were speaking to this, but that first of all, the number of people who would qualify, and then what the impact would be of them in total? Do you have the values of their properties?
Well, if you considered the first one, it's
Yep.
motor vehicle versus real estate, and this is an exemption amount. So the town determines what the exemption amount is. So if it was $1,000 per veteran and 10 more veterans were eligible, plus the 12 that are already, I'm just going to round and say 20 veterans, that would be, if 10 of them and that'd be 330, that'd be $660 per year. I'm just doing quick math for every $1,000. So it's a matter of a chart, how many veterans, and we don't know how many veterans would be eligible, because when they come in, I don't always see their income. Most times I don't see. They just say, "Oh, I'm way over income." Because what I also showed on page 2 was that the 12 veterans that are currently eligible are all over 65, so they, have limited income. So a lot of our working veterans, they indicate to me they're way over income, and they'll come in maybe at a future time and see what the benefits are.
Thank you.
so the town has the option to approve an exemption to go from 1,000 to 20,000 over the state limit on income?
Well, what we're talking about right here is also the piece of income guidelines.
Right,
So it wouldn't be all veterans. It's based on income, and you'd have to set the guidelines. Would you go with the state? You could go with the state guidelines, which we've already determined so far that we only have 12 that would be eligible for any additional benefit, or would you go at some amount higher than the state guidelines? And again, we don't know how many might fall into let's just say you went 10,000 above the guidelines to 60,100. We don't know how many would qualify, because I have no documentation on the income of the veterans that we have.
And again, you're talking assessment.
I have mentioned that we're gonna be considering this, the Board of Finance, but if I was a member of the Board of Finance, I'd want to know what the, and excuse this term, but worst case scenario would be financial impact to the town. If there's a way that we can calculate that somehow, and understanding that a lot of it is going to be a guesstimate, but try to come up with that figure, I think would be a little easier to explain, because again, as the Board of Finance, I think that's their main thing they're going to look at, is what the tax implication is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that would be. I don't know if you could, survey your veterans to get, without identifying themselves, sending in something without their name on it, what their income is, because I don't know how I would know, or any of us would know who might fall within whatever the guidelines are.
Can I ask two
Good.
questions?
Just thinking out loud, what I'm thinking of, maybe we can put our thinking caps on and come up even with an informal survey that we might be able to put something in the next issue to the Citizen, asking people to anonymously indicate, one, do they feel it would be eligible, or what their income guidelines are, explaining that we're researching this and looking into it.
I don't think there's any way you can do that anonymously, but I think Chris had a couple of questions for us.
When somebody applies for an exemption,
Mhm.
what do they have to present to prove they're entitled to the exemption? Do they have to present? Tax
Good
return?
question. So, all the state mandated one that we currently have 10 veterans, biannually, they have to file an application with the assessor's office, and they have to provide to me their income documentation. So those who were due, half of them apply in an even year and half of them apply in the odd years. That's typically how it averages out to, based on when you initially filed. Then you file every 2 years. And what they do is they fill out an application. It's a very simple application, but they also have to give me their income documentation. So if they're still doing a tax return, they give me their tax return. They also, if they're receiving Social Security, they have to give me their 1099 for Social Security. If they no longer file a tax return, then they give me all their 1099s, all their documentation that shows their income for the previous year. So this year I'm looking at your 2022 income.
So you do have an idea then for that group.
Oh, yes, definitely. I know the 12, but
Yeah,
I don't have the income for all the people that might have called, come in, emailed me and asked me, what are the guidelines? And then, oh yeah, I'm over income, so I don't qualify for it.
does that happen often?
It happens at least a few times a year. I get inquiries because sometimes it's prompted by the citizen, at least twice a year, the information is put out there, sometimes 3 times a year. The local assessors, we put it in the Chronicle once a year. And sometimes just a veteran coming in to file, they're new to town and they're filing their DD 214. And a lot of them are coming in with VA disability ratings. So they come in to give me that. They'll say, are there any other programs? And I'll mention the one that's income based. And typically they're already working, they're still working, and they'll say, yeah, I'm over income. So I go
You
over
said
the
that-
basic. Yeah.
So you said that happens a few times a year?
Yeah, at least a few times a year, I would say. Did you have a second question, Christine?
Yeah, does this have to go to town meeting?
Yeah, yes, local option.
I would think so, yeah.
It does, yes.
I'm trying to think if there's any way you can actually have people submit their information anonymously.
We could have them put it in the black box, I guess. That's an option. You could anonymously do that out in the front.
Yeah.
Or
So Bill, if you put something in the Citizen, you'd have to phrase it in a way that, I'm trying to think of how you would phrase this.
Well, that's what I mentioned. I think maybe we all let this, digest this a little and think about it. I was just thinking of a small, doing a half a page with a questionnaire. If you're a veteran, what, and give 3 or 4 income guidelines, between 30 and 40, 40 and 50 or whatever, and just say check one, not ask for a name or anything, and drop it in the black box or
You
come
could-
up
you
with a
could make-
method that way.
Yeah,
It
you could
would
make
be
the
a-
name optional,
Yeah,
because some people would probably not have a problem with that.
yeah. But anyway, just so we could get an idea of the magnitude of the potential magnitude of this. Lynn, I appreciate all the work you've done on this, and I think we're going to be talking about this again. We'll carry it on our next agenda. And, I'm sure that Roger and Catherine and I will be humming this over and figuring out how we could get more information because it eventually will have to go to the Board of Finance. Obviously, it's going to have to go to a town meeting.
Mhm.
And just I think the more informative that we can be about the impact of how many people could potentially be affected, and then what the financial impact on the town is. Some of the information you gave us last week about the 490 plan, and what the cost, what basically the town is investing in that cost, I think was very enlightening.
oh, with the question that you got from the other town?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I can just, give you charts if it was, if the income guideline was 10,000 above or 20,000 above, and if the exemption was X amount, if there were, 5 people, 10 veterans, 15 veterans, 20, that's all I could do at this point is,
Yeah.
but that's not actual.
And I don't think it's gonna be exact. I think we can only estimate. And even if we put it together and when we come to a presentation for the Board of Finance and say, this is if 10 additional take advantage of it, or this is if 20 take advantage of it. My guess is that's gonna be the best that we can do until we get right down to the nitty gritty and, each on a case by case basis. But,
And I think what you might consider as well, Bill, is the surrounding towns or towns of our size, roughly of our size, what they're doing.
yeah, Lynn has done a little bit of that, but
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
And Lynn,
Right.
thank you. This was very thorough and very clear. So
Thank
most
you.
appreciated.
You're welcome. Yeah, so if you think of any questions, just email me too, and, let me know what you need going forward.
absolutely. I noticed Linda walking around in the background. Linda, did you have any input or thoughts on this?
No, I, once or twice have chatted with Lynn while she was putting together information, but I think it's at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen and what they want to do, and then to consider the process of the applicants, the time factor and stuff on the office too.
Yeah.
Because that's absolutely a factor, but I think it's at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be talking more about this.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. You're welcome. Here's your note.
All right. I'm gonna move on to item C, item E under new business, act on request for subordination of housing rehab. Lien 2003-04 as recommended by Community Consulting. Chris had given us the backup documentation. Do I have a motion on that? Rogers had to step out for a second.
And the information we got was as of what? Was that a couple weeks ago?
I believe so, correct, Chris?
Yeah.
We were gonna deal this a couple of weeks ago. It's, if I remember right, it's a refinance to make improvements to the home.
This is the second subordination request. You approved one a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
This is a new one.
okay.
Do we have this information?
Yes, I gave it to you in your packet.
So the packet was printed, right? It wasn't
It
emailed?
was hard copy.
That's why I don't have it. Can you just tell me what the amount is? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, it was, it should have been in what Chris had handed out. It's dated August 8th from Community Consulting. And, hold on one second. No, that's for their, I don't see that letter.
Yeah.
No, that was for the RFP. Excuse me. The figure 23,000 rings a bell with me, but that might have been the one we've already approved.
That sounds like the first one.
Just give me a minute.
Okay, I found the letter. It's dated August 9th. And the amount is 21,685.
Do we know anything about the property and the equity and all of that? We had a little bit more information on the last one.
All I have is the letter here, but it says the homeowners of the Ashford Housing Program 2003-04 requesting a subordination of housing rehab program lien placed on their property totaling 21,685. They have applied for a home equity loan in the amount of 80,000 for home improvements. The property has been appraised for 225,000, and they are in good standing with their current mortgage. I recommend that the Board of Selectmen approve the subordination request at your next meeting. Please let me know if you have any questions.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion that's been moved and seconded on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item F, agenda items for the upcoming Board of Selectmen's meeting. Hearing none, I've got 9:48.
Motion to adjourn.
Quick question.
Hold on one second.
Did
Oh,
you kind of skipped the briefing? Was there, because there was no updates or?
No, I think I kind of, within the
Okay.
body of it, I think I touched on
Okay.
everything.
Then,
The only briefing I could think of, I don't think officially, we removed that large tree that was at back of Knowlton Hall. I think I had mentioned that at a meeting or so.
okay,
Behind, it was on private property, but it was jeopardizing that corner of the building.
Right.
We got permission from the owner, we removed that tree. Other than that, I think we've addressed it in the agenda.
all right.
Please remember that your regular selectmen's meeting is next Tuesday, because Monday's a holiday. And Wednesday is the public hearing special town meeting on the ARPA funding.
thank you for the reminder.
Mm.
All right. We've got a
Could we,
motion to move.
could we add, bear with me, could we add that in the minutes? As a reminder, under Selectmen's update?
Absolutely.
All right, I guess all in favor of adjournment?
So I've got
Aye.
50, all signify
Aye.
by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.